Hello, it's not raining, so I'm outside and I'm in a different jumper, just to prove that I own two jumpers. So I've got a little bit to talk about this week, so I'm just going to jump straight into it with this, which is not only wet finished, but also pressed. Thank you. I'm impressed as well. So this has come out really well. There isn't a lot of shrinkage. I thought there would be more shrinkage in the cotton, but that's okay. I don't have any texture in this feature stripe. I thought there might be a difference in the shrinkage. There isn't really, so there's no texture in it. But the feature stripe is a lot brighter and a lot bolder because everything's drawn in a little bit. So I'm pleased with that stripe and how that stripe is showing up. The other thing I've got happening on this is quite a lot of tracking. And I've been looking at the tracking, and now that I'm going to talk about it, I cannot find any. Tracking is a texture thing that happens. Oh, you might be able to see it a bit there. Is that showing up? Maybe. You can see that sort of diamonding, that sort of diagonal lines coming in. That's tracking. Now, some people love it, some people hate it. I love it. I think it makes it look like I've done fancy weaving, and it is just one of the things that can happen with weaving. Depends on the fibre. It happens a lot with cotton, but it can happen with anything. So that is finished and done, and I'm really pleased with it, and it is a lot drapier now that it's, see, there's my drape test, now that it's been wet finished. This cotton was already very soft anyway, so it's a nice soft, not particularly snuggly because it is quite thin, but I'm holding it up beautifully. But the colours have come through really strongly in that feature stripe, and that's what I'm happy about. I mean, I'm happy about a lot of things generally, but at the moment, I'm happy about that feature stripe. Now, last week on the loom, I do have a box of stuff at my feet, and it is a very badly organised box of stuff. So I'm just going to go down here. I'll be back. Because last week on the loom, I had that chunky yarn thing because I wanted a quick weave. And not only was it a quick weave, it is a quick weave that is wet finished. That's how quick it was. It has come out looking like this, and I think it's a lot of fun. You can see how fluffy. Can you see how fluffy? So this is not pressed because I didn't want to press my fluff, which is, you know, a valid feeling to have. It is very soft. I'm holding it up badly again. It's very soft. I'm glad that these blue stripes show up as well as they did, because on the loom, it didn't look as though, particularly these little stripes here on the side, didn't look as though they were going to really stand out, but they do. And the wet finish has made all of that fluff up. So while I was weaving it, the fluff was being trapped. It was very sad. But then with the wet finish and the agitation of the wet finish, all of that fluff was released. I must stop saying fluff. And now I've got this lovely, fluffy scarf. So I'm happy with that one, and it was a nice quick weave. And it is beautifully fluffy and very soft. The fluff is nylon, and I thought it was attached, like spun into the main yarn, but it is actually a thread of nylon, which I found when I was trimming the fringes. And I can't show you an example because I've trimmed them, but it is just a thread of nylon with the fluff. Stop saying fluff. All right, that's the end of the fluffy one. That is wet finished, not pressed, because as I said, I didn't want to lose the fluff. Now, I do have something on the little loom. Again, nothing on the big loom. Still theoretically doing some sewing. This is such a badly organised box. Okay, hang on. It's all fine. Now, this is going to be a bit tricky. Bear with me. I'm down here. I'll be back. Hang on. Right, so here we go. This is what's on the little loom. And this is very fresh. Hang on. Why do I always have my shuttle on the wrong side? Hang on. Let me just put that there. So very fresh on the loom. There's the hem stitching. I haven't even advanced that around the front beam. And now this thread's in the way. So I'm just going to put that up there to show you that it is a clasped weft. Now all that means is, I'm going to get a little bit closer because I'm on some very uneven ground and I'm wearing slippers, which was a poor choice. So you might be able to see, I've got this purple coming in from this side and then the green coming in from this side. So the purple is actually in this ball holder here, just hanging off the side of the loom, so that I can take the shuttle through from this side, grab a loop of the purple, and then instead of taking the shuttle all the way through, I bring it back the way that it came and grab a loop of that purple. And that is your clasped weft. I don't know if that made sense. I think it did, but I'm not sure. So I've got just the ball in there so that I can just grab those loops continuously from that ball. And then obviously I've got the shuttle in the way on the wrong side. So yeah, essentially, that goes in, picks up a loop of the purple, and then I pull the shuttle out the way it came to pull in a loop of the purple. So it's actually a double thick weave. You might be able, well, you're not helping. You go back, you sit there. you stay there. I need one more hand. You might be able to see, I can't point at it because I'm using all my hands, that it is doubled. Let's see if I can point at it. Nope. So down here you can see that it's a single because that's just the little starty bit that I like to weave. And then up here it is double because it's going back the way it came. So that's, as I said, fresh on the loom. I don't know how much of either of these yarns that I have. I don't know if I have enough to do like a whole thing. We're going to find out. These are both from my aunt's stash. The purple came from the stash when she passed away. The green she gave to me a few years ago. And I don't know how much, as I said, of either of them I've got. You can do the cut and the weigh and the measure, but I couldn't be bothered. So we're just going to see how we get on. So moving on to cross stitch. Let me just put that somewhere. I'm just going to pop that somewhere. There we go. I've popped that. That's popped. So I'm still working on the toucans. Is that the right way up? No. Is it? No. So, professional, going so well. So the last time I talked about the toucans, which I believe was last week, the piece looked like this. And I'll just give you a minute to appreciate that. And now it looks like this. So I'm working at the moment on this lower toucan. I'm going to get that body shape in so that I've got a bit of an idea about where everything else is going. It's coming along very well. I'm very pleased with it. And I love these colours. These colours are tremendous. I've got a half done row here. So I've still got the long thread on the back there. Because at this point last night, my dog sent me to bed. And she knows when it's time to go to bed. I'm not in charge of that sort of thing. So that is coming along beautifully. As I said, love the colours. I love the shapes and colours. That's all it takes. And so I'm having a lovely time with that. But while we're talking about cross stitch, I got in the post today some custom frames. So I'm going to show you something that I have custom framed, and it's in a box. And here we go. Very organised. This is my 10-year poppy project, has been framed. I'll try and get that without a reflection in it. And I'm really pleased with it. So the reason I went with this frame, I purchased this. This isn't the one that I bought 9 years ago for this piece, but it is the colours of the one that I bought 9 years ago for this piece. I think because I've had it in my brain that this is going to be in a silver frame with a brown mount. So when I ordered the frame, which is reflective, there we go, I ordered just the silver and the brown, and I think it works. I think it works really well. So this is from a shop called frameshop.com.au. This is not sponsored. They don't know I'm going to talk about them. If you need custom sized frames though, I would recommend them. They have a huge range of mount board colours, and they can do just about any size of frame that you need. So there's that one, which is finally framed, and now I just need somewhere to hang it. I say finally framed like I didn't finish it like 2 weeks ago or whenever it was, but I'm really pleased with how that's looking. And a few weeks ago, I was framing some other pieces, and I also framed up, hang on, you may remember if you've been around the channel for a while, oh, there's no string on that one, so I won't try and hold it up by the string. I also framed the frog with the umbrella. Now, you may not remember the frog with the umbrella. I think this was a couple of years ago. I will see if this chart is still available on Etsy and put a link in the description. This is not finished to the chart. There's actually supposed to be some white French knots and also some white back stitching, and I didn't like how it looked, so I took it out. But that is where I got to with the frog, reflecting, and I just thought it was time to do something with the frog because I kept finding it and then having to move it and put it somewhere else. And I thought, well, why don't I just put it in a frame, and then it's on the wall and I know where it is and I don't have to move it. But that is all I have for you this week. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourself. Have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.